after the Penske deal fell through. And I did find this note from GM. It said Saturn customers will continue to be able to buy Saturn vehicles as long as the dealerships stay open. You'll be able to purchase and have your vehicle serviced at the Saturn retailers as long as the dealers stay open.
Yeah.
Once the, quote, wind down is complete, Saturn owners will be able to have their vehicles serviced at any other GM dealership. GM will continue to back all Saturn warranties.
Did they say how long that wind down was going to be?
No. My guess is that's up to the dealership.
It'll vary with the dealership.
Depending on inventory and
I got you.
Market to market.
I saw an article this morning that said they expect all the Saturn dealerships to be closed by the end of next year or sooner, and that GM will continue to make parts for Saturn.
Right. There you go. So if you've got one or you want to buy one, they're still there.
Go ahead and get one.
It's you're not in any danger if that's what you want to do. 7:02 at WEZL.
Checking other news, officials say thousands of people are still trapped under collapsing buildings on Sumatra Island after 2 earthquakes devastated the Southeast Asian nation in the last 24 hours. Military transports are flying aid to the islands. At least 120 people have been killed. A new study says the rate of men killing women in South Carolina is nearly double the national average. The study by the Violence Policy Center says that women in South Carolina are more likely to be killed by a husband or boyfriend than by a stranger. South Carolina is ranked 8th in the nation for the number of women killed by men. Force Protection plans to reduce its workforce by 10%, or about 120 workers, as it adjusts to a decline in orders for military vehicles over the next year. Force Protection Incorporated says it's targeting annual savings of $40 million. South Carolina businesses might have to pay more over the next couple of years to rebuild the state unemployment benefit fund. The state also will repay an estimated $1 billion it has borrowed over the past year to make unemployment payments. 11 students have been expelled from North Charleston High School after 26 people were involved in a cafeteria brawl. Authorities say 13 juveniles and 13 older students were charged. In sports, Philadelphia topped Houston 10-3 to win the National League East. The defending World Series champs are heading to the postseason for a third straight year. Florida's Ricky Nolasco struck out 9 consecutive batters, one short of the Major League record in a 5-4 win over Atlanta. Nolasco struck out 14 of the first 19 Braves batters and went on to set a team record with 16 strikeouts.
Well, and I didn't see that, but I can imagine just the electricity had to be.
That was an incredible game. I watched that whole game.
He struck out 14 of the first 19 batters.
Yeah, he was on fire. He could not miss that strike zone last night. And then they took him out. For whatever reason, they took him out. Maybe it was a pitch count or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought in a couple of other pitchers. And finally, Donnelly in the ninth inning, bottom of the ninth inning, bases loaded. The Braves came back in the ninth inning, bottom of the ninth, and scored 2 runs. So it's 5-4, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth inning, bases loaded, with Donnelly on the mound, and he throws a wild pitch that gets by the catcher. And Matt Diaz on third base, he takes off for home, which could have tied the game if he kept running. But he stopped because the guy got the ball and ran back to third base, and they threw him out at third base, and that's how the game ended.
That's why Bobby Cox is quitting. He just can't take that nonsense anymore.
I mean, we were just going crazy. That was just an incredible game.
Did they just go ahead and fire the third base coach?
And they shot Diaz. They hadn't found the body.
He felt terrible.
They haven't found the body yet.
You could tell he was just so mad at himself. Because if he'd have kept running, he'd have scored. He'd have at least tied the game up.
Would he have been safe?
He would have been safe if he'd have kept running. But what happened is he stopped and fell down, got up, and started getting back to third base, and that catcher had plenty of time to get that ball.
He fell down.
Well, he fell down trying to stop and get back to third base. He slipped, and it just didn't work out. If he'd have kept going straight, he'd have tied the ball game.
And that's why Bobby Cox is retiring.
You think he heard about it in the clubhouse?
Oh, I think he went to the other clubhouse, actually. The Rockies beat the Brewers 10-6 down and lead the Braves by 4 with 4 to play in the National League wild card race.
Those dreaded Rockies.
Detroit picked up a 7-2 win over Minnesota and need a win this afternoon to clinch the American League Central. And the American teenager who reached the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open is the first player to commit to next spring's Family Circle Cup in Charleston. Her name is Melanie Udan. She's the third highest ranked American woman behind the Williams sisters.
Now